Welcome, everyone. This is Public News, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at lasers in LOTRO and hear LOTRO players. And this week we have with us Sanswinda,
Hello.
Calabathian,
Oh, hang on. I had to mute everything because I'm in the chat now. Hi. It confused me. I'm sorry. I was hearing Pine Leaf yelling every 10 seconds. They're quiet on the set, and I'm like, what? No, hang on.
and Krister.
Hello.
Hello, everyone, and let's begin with the news for this week, where we had another bull rower build number 2, for some more testing of the Brawler and Legendary items.
Didn't get a chance to do anything with that.
Well, for the Brawler, they made several tweaks to skills. I'll leave that off on. Just say that many of the skills were tweaked so that they're hoping that the Brawler would be more tuned, I guess, and more balanced so that it would be closer and closer to being ready. So that's probably based on feedback from the first time around. And also, one thing to add, though, is that there is a new blue line trait, Healing Increase, which increases incoming and outgoing healing, and that there is now a Joy of Battle Heal, which is a new skill, and this heals the Brawler upon hitting enemies.
Excellent. It gives you reason to actually smack people in the face over the fact that you're smacking them in the face. Every time I hit someone in the schnoz, I feel so much better.
Yes. Because I remember one of the things we discussed last week was that the Brawler, as far as I could tell, didn't have any significant heals, but it looks like that has been addressed. And with legendary items, they did some tweaks to the Bjorning traceries and skills and to the Brawler traceries.
Traceries.
Well, I suppose the name is traced in stone already.
Ooh.
Yes, and also adjustments for the burglar. There were not, this time around, there were not any tweaks on the champion, and I know there have been a lot of, let's just say, a lot of boiling coming from the champions in there, so they're trying to probably go and make some tweaks on that, we hope, in the next build.
Can you blame them?
And
it's a good thing Terry's not here, because she probably would start being very upset again.
And also, they made a note that, yes, weapon swapping is a thing of the past, which apparently there's some classes that I think especially champions are, especially ones that don't like the loss of weapon swapping. I'm not exactly sure what all that weapon swapping is all about and stuff like that, because I've certainly not something that I've done in LOTRO.
Yeah.
Now,
what about weapon swapping?
Yeah.
So does that mean like you can't have two sets of weapons, or does that mean like you can't try to swap mid doing something?
You cannot swap. You cannot swap weapons in the middle of combat.
Yeah, because I know I think our raid hunters have had rotations they would do where they'd be switching their bows out, different bows at different times. I know the captains, you'd do a weapon swap because you had a Shield of the Dunedain buff that was only available on non-imbued weapons. So you wouldn't want to use it, but you'd want to if you're going to cast Shield of the Dunedain at the beginning, you'd want to do that and switch back to your normal weapons. So I could see where people would be frustrated by that, but I think that people can understand why they're nerfing it too. So.
Yeah. Well, one of the problems is that because people are doing it and only the top players are doing it, they're balancing the raids based on that.
Right.
And so if you're not a weapon swapper, then you are at a severe disadvantage in the raids.
Yeah, I would agree. That is definitely a high raid tactic there.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, we have to make sure, though, that, of course, the balance of the raids take into account that they took away that ability.
Right. That makes sense to me as well, because if you're tuning in for that, then anybody else, like you said, anybody who's not doing that has that disadvantage on top of how difficult it is already, so.
Right. So, well, we'll see on that. Anyway, yes, weapon swapping is expected to be a thing of the past when 30.3 goes live. So that's another thing to be careful on. And that's it for the updates for this week's Brawler. So let's go into the LOTRO Beacon issue number 220.
Who is Evil Pine Leaf in the chat? Who's their Evil Pine Leaf? But Evil Pine Leaf apparently says the next build will be pure role-playing changes. Added more hobby horse skins, a wieldable stack of Daleman's Cram, and all Pibgorns will be tuned down 1/4 octaves. Better leave my Pibgorn alone.
Oh, I have a feeling that if you tune down all the Pibgorns by by a 1/4 octave, if everyone wasn't already driven crazy by those things,
why use them?
Yes. Let's go to the community spotlights, where Daddy's LOTRO Guides delves into the legendary item update. So you can read more of that on Daddy's LOTRO Guides website. Maybe I could read this so I can actually understand what's going on. And Louis Stephen puts together a new video on the legendary items update as well, and you can watch that over on his YouTube channel. And the 18th Big Boar Market takes place tomorrow on Belegear. That is tomorrow as of this recording, which if you're listening to this live or you're watching the YouTube version of this, which I think will probably be out by then, you might be able to attend. If you're listening to the podcast version on Monday, it will be late. You can see the flyer, though, for more information and seeing if they give any information here about a possible place you could actually it's a market, so it's sort of moot. Haravane has written up.
So are you saying that it's neither a bull market or a like a one of the what's the other market? If it's not a bull market, it's
bear.
A what? It's not a bull market or a bear market. It is a boar market.
It's a boar market, right? I guess a boar market is a real steady market.
I guess so. That, or it's a market that spits water out of its mouth in the middle of the town square.
Well, that's always another possibility. Yes. Harvane has written up some notes for our recent legendary items chat, and you can read those notes over on the LOTRO forums. And Songs from Another Age also takes place tomorrow, and you could more read about that on a player-run concert on the LOTRO forums. And now for our weekly comment. What is the most popular song in Middle-earth?
Oh boy, for a long time, and I mean probably, I want to say probably year 8 to 14. Well, not 14. So let's say 8 to about 11. It was David Hasselhoff's songs, but I don't know what the current pulse is. I'm assuming it's kind of whatever, some techno music or something at this point.
The True Tale of Leland's Lunch. That's the most popular song in Middle Earth.
Really?
They asked this and y'all just forget, apparently, that I actually wrote that little song because Leland.
The True Tale of Leland's Lunch. Well,
the most popular song.
It really isn't, y'all.
I was thinking it might have been The Road Goes Ever On. No? All right. Never mind.
This is The Road That Never Ends?
It goes on and on, my friends.
Let's then head into the fan site news, where last week we learned that we want Moomox for brawlers.
Yep.
Well, for everyone, actually, we're just starting with brawlers because they're new.
You're just starting with brawlers. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Today the brawlers, tomorrow the world.
Precisely. Moomox for all.
I am just imagining a city where you had to have everything wide enough in order to accommodate Moomox all over the place.
Baby Moomox for all.
Baby Moomox for all.
Oh, be wonderful.
That you can ride if you're short.
Now that kind of if they decide in the future to actually go into like Far Horrid or Near Horrid, they're going to have to figure out what do we do with these Moomox, because people have Moomox down there, don't they? That's where they came from. So like, do they never bring them in town? It's like you don't ride the Moomox in town; you keep them out in the outskirts.
Well,
maybe you can have like whole villages on top of Moomox.
Okay. Do you think that the Carthaginian army brought elephants into the city?
I would have.
Well, how else were they going to do the circus?
Also, how else do they bring the city to its knees if they don't have elephants running through the city stomping on people and crashing into buildings and knocking them over?
Though,
what have you never played Age of Empires?
Apparently
okay,
not.
Pine Leaf. Let's go with the let's go with the idea that maybe Moomox stay outside. Okay. Maybe we could just be auto dismounted from our Moomox anytime we get to the city. Anytime we enter a gate or a pathway into the town.
Ooh, and the Moomox would form a living fortification around the city. That would scare everybody off, wouldn't it? I mean,
it probably would. I guess we'll find out when we reach Harad. Yes. Gamer Reverie teaches you about session play. And LOTRO Stream is your first stop to find LOTRO on Twitch. This week, Lady Feller gets attacked by trees, B4 plugs along, and Michael DK2 gets random. And
also, I was just kind of sitting here singing, like, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, Moomox, Rome. Anyway, continue.
Okay. Also on Twitch, the Green-Eyed Gamer tours some nice houses, Klingon raids, and Maple Creatures travels in the North Downs. And over on YouTube, Hollyberry has a video on a recent Dune ensemble concert. DOS streams on 4K/60, and Gamer Penny meets a ranger.
That's not that spectacular.
Depends on the ranger.
No. Morkendeer would tell you it's not that big a deal to meet these rangers. Matter of fact, he's kind of, in some cases, really, really wishing he hadn't. Anyway.
Well, yes. Let's have a look at the screenshots of the week where Val Creek puts together an early autumn outfit for her huntress. You can check out more pics over on Val Creek's Twitter page.
It's very pretty.
Yeah, it is. That's a really nice chest piece there. So, and good colors as well.
Autumnal. And that completes our Beacon issue number 220. So let's then head into our store sales. Krister, what's on sale this week?
Well, if I could make my things work here. This week, you're going to get 25% off on character slots, veteran status, stat packages, XP boosts, and that's going to be through September 23rd. And then our weekly coupon is a free 5% attack damage times 25, which is awesome. The coupon code is hard hitting, and that is available through the 23rd as well.
Then let's head into our weekend gaming. Calabathian, what were you up to?
Well, I actually managed to get on LOTRO this week. Hooray! So first of all, on the game, I took Celeborn through Gondor's epic line from the very beginning, where you enter via Rohan, because Terry pretty much convinced me that, if Pelennor is like the best thing in that whole thing, and I really needed to do it. But she was going to kind of run me through the Gondor stuff just on the epic, with her character, Terry Adwin, who is like a 130 and, all buff and everything. Everything was gray to me, but we did some but some skirmishes first, and she kind of mowed through everything, and I just kind of hung back like, wee, yay, get the troll. But afterward, we kind of ran a little bit through some of Gondor, namely the Paths of the Dead. So we're not to Pelennor yet; we just barely started. But I do suspect that the Paths of the Dead may not be full of dead. They may actually be full of restless vaping hipsters, because have you seen all that smoke that's swirling? It's like, dude, what? Someone is totally vaping hard here. Anyway, also on the game, for Friday with the Academy, I did some swimming in Lake Evendim. That was, we got almost to where we needed to be, and individuals who shall not be named, fans, had turned around and actually gone back the way that they came. So we all had to turn around and swim back before we'd even really reach, land. But, it's all right. We were helping her catch up to the rest of us. I also rode a horse. In the very beginning, everyone was kind of already in Tinadir, and I was in Bree. So I rode a horse, trying to get to them. Remembered I could visit a friend to actually use the far-ranging stables there. So I did that. Found that the stables did not actually go to Tinadir or Evendim. So I went to Mickle Delving with them. And then I took that stable to Tinadir and Evendim. And right as I'm crossing the bridge to Tinadir at the end, I look at my skill bar and realize that my return to Evendim milestone is staring me in the face from my skill bar. I literally could have clicked that once, and I could have been there like 5 minutes before.
Oops.
But yeah, oops. Anyway, for my other game, Star Wars, it was kind of amusing. I have my companion, and I'm playing my Sith sorcerer right now, trying to get through that storyline. And I flirted with another Sith in front of my romanceable companion, who I had already begun to romance by that point. And said companion approved of it. Now I'm just confused. At least another of my companions, who is not even human, Kim Val, a guy who sucks the souls out of Force users. He's very steadfast in his interactions, even if it's just he would really like to eat me, being a Force user, and that's all I hear from him. But at least that he doesn't really waver from that. Like, you're really beautiful, and let's get together. And then when I flirt with some other dude, it's like there's no jealousy. It's just he's approving, like, go for it, babe. And it's like, what? No, that's not how that works. Anyway, Krister, how about you?
Well, unfortunately, I was out of commission last weekend, but now feeling better. The kin almost assembled. That I think that's what we'll chalk up our performance to, because we certainly didn't have the right makeup for the T2 run. However, that didn't stop us from doing it. And I'm stealing this bit from The Simpsons, because there was a part where everybody even got trapped, and somebody goes, "You trapped us like rats." And the guy goes, no, rats would have put up a challenge. You guys are more trapped like carrots. So we were slaughtered like lettuce. I wouldn't even put up that we put up a fight. I think we were just simply a really easy amusement for the Balrog. It was incredible. So basically, several of our group came to understand that they really need to work on their mitigations now, and it was apparent with everybody that dropped dead. So,
because I'm glad that you explained where that was, because I was horribly, horribly baffled by being slaughtered like lettuce. I'm like, I have never gone out of my way to slaughter lettuce. I don't often hear about serial killers targeting heads of cabbage and lettuce.
Well, yeah, and of course you don't hear about if lettuce was to engage in any major combat across any era of time in humanity.
It's mostly made out of water anyway.
Yeah, that lettuce would not fare well in that fight. And, if you were relying on lettuce to hold the line. In fact, like the 300, if it was 300 heads of cabbage, probably wouldn't have had the heroic last stand that you had there. Everybody probably just would have had falafel. So.
Oh, so we're talking like if 300 heads of cabbage had been in the Battle of Pelennor Fields, it probably would not have ended as it did.
Yeah, or when we're fighting the Mumax, if we were just fighting heads of cabbage, we wouldn't have a problem.
I was thinking more along the lines of, like the riders of Rohan coming over the hills. It's just a big bunch of rolling heads of cabbage.
Talk about a distraction, honestly. Boy, if you had like thousands and thousands of heads of cabbage rolling ahead of them, that would have confused the heck out of everybody. That could have stuck on the ends of the orcs' weapons and blunted them, Huh? See, that's pretty clever.
Off the ship, the dead pouring off the ship is just, green cabbage or the spirits of cabbage. It's the restless cabbage.
And after that, too, after the battle, you probably would be able to scrounge up some really nice salads.
Yeah, it's easy to clean up after the battle. Salads for everyone.
But so our humiliating and almost instantaneous defeats on T2. So we tried that for a while, but I didn't want to end the night on a bitter note of defeat. So we set it for T1, and we ended the night in victory. So that was good ultimately.
Then you went out for salad.
And then we went out for salad. And then every once in a while I get the itch to try a couple new games. So I just tried a couple new ones. And I tried a game called High Fleet from Microprose. And it was actually pretty Microprose made some quirky, interesting games back in the day. And this was another one that's kind of just an interesting game. The Long Dark is like a solo survival game. So having played Ark, I got kind of interested in checking those types of games out because I've really been enjoying the Ark experience. And then I reloaded Skyrim. So Elder Scrolls Online is that going to be? I mean, that in terms of graphics and everything, do those two look pretty close? Would you guys say? Or I'm assuming ESO looks much better, quote unquote. So
in some ways, it looks close. It might kind of depend on your graphics processor, and it also depends on where in the world you are.
Okay. But so playing Skyrim makes me interested in checking out ESO as well. So, and then of course I can't help it. I'm getting a little excited because my most favorite festival in LOTRO is approaching, the Winter Festival. And in the Winter Festival, the Fall Festival. Oh no! Oh crap! Okay, never mind. Now I'm just disappointed. I was looking for. I'm sorry. There's a Hobbit at the Winter Festival that I'm obsessed with, and it's my favorite Hobbit that is my favorite NPC in the game, and it's this Hobbit that's passed out in his own vomit right by.
That's your favorite NPC?
Absolutely, because I just loved the moment I came across him. The first time I ever came across him, I was dying, and I just really applauded the developers at that point. And it really kind of brought my whole LOTRO experience together, because that's really how you imagine.
Oh well, frankly. You'll have to survive the Fall Festival first.
You know what? Don't even show up at the don't you show up at the fall festival.
Yeah, that's right.
You just disrespected the best festival by trying to just forget about it and jump up. No, Krister, no.
Winter Festival's it. It is it.
No.
Winter Fest is it.
No.
You throw snowballs. You can run around. You can scare trees.
Spooky season.
See, but you can scare trees. Well,
I can take a bat and I can smack stuff in the fall festival like gourds, pretending they're goblin heads. And then I can go smack some real goblin heads. But I can totally do that. I can't do that in the winter festival. It's all about baking and build a snowman. And I'm like, no, I want my violence. And I want...
You do. You get your violence. You get to go up and beat up those... beat up the little tree guys up there.
I also get to be drunk during the fall season.
And frankly, you pick berries, which is kind of like violence. I mean, you're taking the berries from the bush. The bush doesn't want to give those berries up.
I get to rescue cats in the fall festival.
Yeah, I don't think there's any equivalent to cat rescue.
Mm-hmm.
You restore the beer. You replenish the beer.
No.
It's kind of like a cat.
No, it's not at all like a cat. I guarantee you, being the owner of a cat who is currently hiding in a room. Beer does not hide from you in a room behind stuff, so that you have to like completely shift everything around in the room to try to block off all avenues of escape before you try to grab it. Beer doesn't do that. Cats do. Cats need rescuing because cats are cats.
Well, now that I've totally disappointed myself by screwing up which festival's coming up next.
I'm disappointed in you too, so let's keep on going.
Sans, how was your week?
My week was pretty good. I ran around Evendim on the field trip, and I discovered swimming as a bear is kind of fun. Okay, it's a lot of fun. And I think I got mostly caught up too, so thank you all for helping me catch up. That was pretty fun, despite the swimming there and back again before everybody showed up. Sorry about that, guys.
Okay, just,
Yeah. And in SWTOR, I finished up running around Tatooine with Maven and Nitesh on our Sith sorcerers.
When did you do that? What day did you do that?
What day was that? Wednesday? I think that was Wednesday.
I was just wondering, because my Sith sorcerer finished up Tatooine as well, and I didn't know if maybe we had crossed paths or not, so I was kind of curious. Pretty cool. Go ahead, though. Sorry.
We definitely found some other Sith sorcerers running around, so. And, I made a bigger lava farm in our Minecraft world after going on a great cobblestone hunt, in which I found enough cobblestone to fill my whole inventory, including my shield slot, and then tried to run back with it. And accidentally placed 2 random pieces of cobblestone somewhere, because I had no ability to pick them back up because my inventory was completely full of cobblestone. So that was pretty fun though. And yeah, if you're running around our Minecraft world, anyone who does, and you find random pieces of cobblestone, please feel free to break them and get them out of the way. Finally, how was your week?
Right. Over on Honor, my warden shoot away goats that had gotten caught up in the gear works in Udun.
That's a good thing. I would hate to think of what happened if those goats really got caught in the gear works.
Yes. And in DDO, I finished up my exploration of Salt Marsh, and then I searched for some missing gatekeepers. Then
what about the Keymasters? But it's Ghostbusters reference.
Right. Then in the DDO players Minecraft world, I did a great deal of exploration trying to find a mansion. I bought a map to a mansion that I went along the route trying to find it. This thing proved to be 20,000 blocks away, which is, oh boy, traveling overland through unfamiliar territory and have no idea what the terrain is ahead or anything like that. trying to look for this mansion. I eventually did get to the mansion. I found a jungle along the way, which is something that we've been looking for, and I passed by a mushroom island. And now I'm trying to get back with some of the stuff I've got there. I did actually go into the mansion because I was just blazing trail there, but the actual exploration of the mansion will have to be done by by the entire group of it. Then I'm hoping that somehow we'll be able to go there as a group and explore. But boy, it takes a long time in order to get all the way down there. And I think that's the furthest I've ever explored for anything, 20,000 blocks on a single exploration.
Gonna lie, as you started talking about that, I kind of flashed back to the movie Labyrinth, which, by the way, we went and saw in the theaters for the 35th anniversary thing when they put it out. And
Oh,
you
I was
started
wondering
talking about it.
why someone said that they're going to be seeing Labyrinth. I
Yeah,
said, wait a minute, wasn't that released
yeah,
35 years
yeah.
ago?
They re-released it for its like
Ah,
35th anniversary.
Okay.
But yeah, you started going on about, you went through this and that, and I was like, through hardships, yeah. You fought your way to the castle beyond the Goblin City to take back the child that he had stolen, and it's Minecraft. Labyrinth Minecraft.
Labyrinth Minecraft. Oh boy. Now I am starting to build a pyramid. I don't think I've gone around to thinking of building a maze yet.
Pretty
Did you say
soon we'll
something,
have a
Krister?
Sphinx. Yeah, I was just saying pretty soon after the pyramid, of course, then your lust for power can't stop there. So pretty soon we'll see a big Sphinx with your face on it.
I strongly doubt that, considering that the Sphinx is a type of build that I'm unlikely to do. Besides, I am making a Mayan type pyramid, not a Egyptian style pyramid.
They're all triangles. Come on now.
And that concludes our week in gaming. So let's head over to our news beyond LOTRO, where Darren Loremaster has posted a sonnet. I think it's the first time I recall in a while of him doing one of his pieces as a sonnet. This is The King of the Dead Memories. No curse like this of mine, King of the dead, bound under oath to dwell in darkened halls under the stony mounts where tunnels led from Dimholt to where Mormoth Vale falls. Passing green foothills where stands an old hill holding the Erech stone near which I swore to aid Isildur. His oath binds me still, and all the people to support his war. Isildur's heir shall summon us to fight one day, if he yet comes. For who can tell what doom shall come to pass? Here sable night surrounds us like Stygian shades of hell. We spirits live, chained in the oaths we broke, till we redeem the promise which we spoke. So the memories of the King of the Dead.
I had a question suddenly pop into my head as this was happening, and something that was mentioned here. Like
Yeah.
the Isildur's heir shall summon us to fight one day if he yet comes, for who can tell what doom shall come to pass? And suddenly in my head the little question popped up, something about, what if it hadn't been Aragorn that was the heir? What if it had been, like Bob the Tailor?
Bob the Tailor.
you know, because it's been how long and how many generations since that happened, and like, so yeah, it just kind of suddenly popped in my head. It's like, what if it wasn't some highfalutin ranger? If it was just by the time it got to it here, it was just Bob the Tailor. Someone comes knocking on his door. It's like, by the way, you're the heir to a long dead race of Numenorians. You're Isildur's heir. And Bob is just like, what? Since when?
Well, I think that there is more than one fantasy story that sort of starts out that way.
I'm just like, how would everything have been different if it had been like, if it basically had gone instead of Frodo, like Frodo-esque, he's got the ring, but he's, it's Frodo. He's not some vaunted hero, descended from rangers or anything. He's a hobbit. And it's like, what if the human equivalent of a hobbit had been the next king of Gondor that had been lost? I mean, it's, yeah. How would that whole story have changed?
Calabathia, now that you're saying this, I just have this vision of, if there was an alternate version of the Lord of the Rings books, where 5 pages in, it is, and Gandalf exclaimed loudly, "What do you mean you pawned it?"
Oh, boy.
Anyway.
Yes. What would have happened if, instead of Bilbo Baggins, the ring had been found by Randall Thor?
To pay off Frodo's gambling debts.
Yeah.
Yes. Our top supporter for this month is LOTRObuild.com. LOTRObuild.com is a collection of full LOTRO databases that includes an items database, a relics database, and a titles database. Also, you could use LOTRO Build right from your Discord server with LOTRO Build Bot. We currently have 16 supporters on Patreon and feel like to join this illustrious rate of players and help support LOTRO players. You can go to the donations page. You can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. Your money would be used for podcast hosting, website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. We did not receive any emails this week, but if you like to send one, you can send it to podcast@lotraplayers.com. You can also follow us at Twitter. The Players Alliance at Players Ally, Lotra Players at Lotra Players, Arendis at Arendis, Pineleaf at Pineleaf Needles, Senswinda at Senswinda, Terry-Edwin at Terry-Edwin, Guarendis at Guarendis, Calabathian at Calabathian.
Oh, and
The
I
Players
guess you can't
Alliance
follow me
has
this
two.
time. I guess you can't follow me this week. I forgot to write my thing down.
Oh, well. The Players Alliance has
You
two.
anyway, Mr. Winter is better than Fall Festival. Nobody wants to follow you anyway. They will follow you straight into They will follow you into an ice-covered pond that will then break, and everyone will drown and die.
You mean a winter wonderland, aka the Winter Festival?
Exactly.
No, I mean Fall Festival, which is completely superior. Do not start talking about Christmas before you get me some Halloween going. Just don't do it. Don't do it.
Well, welcome to Festival Wars. Or Festival Feud. Festival Feud.
Festival Feud.
The Players Alliance has two shows. On Wednesdays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News, and on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News. And please note that the next episode of DDO Players News will be our 300th episode. So if you follow DDO Players, you could keep track on that. You could join us for our shows at lotraplayers.com/live. And remember that LOTRO Players News podcast is now found on Amazon Music and Audible. That's all for tonight. And this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.